To MRC Tier 3 Race 9 coming at you live here from Canada. Quite a cloudy Canada it looks like, so those drivers might want to get out as quickly as possible and make sure they can make use of a warm track before the heavens open. And tonight beside me in the commentary box, he's my number 2 tonight. He was Tier 2 winner twice. It's all the twos. It's Mark Hodgson. Mark Hodgson, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me, Yeah, it's nice to be this side of the box, to be fair. Normally it's me introducing you, and it's nice to be the other way around. You know, I've got a chance to be the little spoon tonight.
Well, it's not very it's not very often that I get to be the big spoon either, but I'm happy to have you wrapped up in my cool embrace. Now let's try and go on board with somebody. Let me get all the doofers that we need up and take you round a lap of Canada. I didn't race here on Monday, I was busy, but you did, Mark. How do you find Canada as a track as a whole?
Usually I love it, but I lasted 2.5 laps on Monday, so it didn't go well, let's call it, and leave it at that. The less said, the better. Yeah, just a standard Tier 1 session for me, that one.
Yeah.
But the way the season's going for me, but usually I like it, and there's slight changes that they've made. There's some of the curbs are a bit more treacherous, and they've opened up the final chicane where the Wall of Champions is, and I like that a little bit more. It's a bit more, you can attack the first part a little bit more and carry more speed, but you're still going to be very careful. You can still go horribly wrong. But no, I do like this. I like this track a lot.
It's a favourite amongst a lot of the drivers. I think when they ones you earmark on the calendar, it's not like a Monaco where half of everybody is dreading it. A lot of people like this one. We're on board with Scottish Ninja. He's just about to go across the line, so let's take everything down and take you on a lap of this Canadian track. So it's across the line here, and you go deep down into this left-right. You can cut quite a bit of curb there if you want to. Then it's a right-hander. Be really careful on the throttle here. Then as you're down into 3-4, there's a place where you can so easily invalidate your lap. It's a blind corner. This is where Seb Vettel, of course, cut the corner against Hamilton all those years ago in 2019. Scottish Ninja doesn't do that. Keeps it in between the right lines. Then we're into sort of another border chicane, into the first DRS zone of the day. You can hear that beep, and the flap is wide open. Then we're on to another right-left. This is another place you can so easily invalidate your lap. But Scottish Ninja does seem, look at that McLaren, it seems to be on rails at the moment. Excellent out from him so far. There's a car in front of him, hopefully they're aware, and they get out of the way. Down to the hairpin now. You really have to hook it in. It's so important that you get enough traction to get out of this corner quickly, because then you're on to the longest straight on the course. This is power all the way down. This is where you're going to see a lot of overtaking moves done in the race. You don't want to leave it too late, because here it is, the infamous Wall of Champions. It's coming up on the right hand side, right, left. Scottish Ninja keeps it out the wall, and then it'll be full throttle all the way down, and it's across the line in a 1:12.42. Great lap there from McLaren.
Yeah, very good banker. Ran out of VRS down the back straight there as well, so that would have hampered the time a little bit. I think he's got quite a bit more in his lap time. Corner invalidated first corner, and that's easy to do. You just try to get a little bit greedy on that first corner and try to cut a bit much, and yeah, you can easily invalidate your lap time. And as you were mentioning, out of the hairpin, which I'm on board with. It's so if only Simba hasn't, taken Martin's seat while he's gallivanting around Europe, he's also taken his Haas reserve seat as well. But that hairpin, it's so important, as you mentioned. You got to keep the right amount of speed on the apex, but get the car rotated. The rotation is so important to get the car straight and then be able to get the drive, as you say, along that back straight, which is so vitally important.
Simba across the line there with a 1:14.484 on the hard tyres as well. He is one of our Tier 1 reserves, so he will have a couple of places, Tier 2 reserves, so he will have a couple of places demoted, but that's a good banker from him as well. Rob Smith, our current leader, with a 1:12.3. Baby Hornet going third there in the Red Bull with a 1:13. Time starting to come in now, and that weather up top, I just mentioned it earlier, it is looking a little bit dicey, I'd say. I wonder if we are maybe going to see a splash of rain towards the end of this qualifying session. Canada's always a track, I feel, where track limits come into play, or at least historically they have. I remember a lot of races where people struggle to make it to the end without a single infringement against them. Is that something you're seeing more in the current games? Like I said, I missed Tier 2 and Tier 1 on Monday night. Or do you reckon that people have got a little bit more control over their cars and are better at keeping it between the white lines?
I think it's a very fine line, to be perfectly honest. I think there are some tracks that will very happily and very easily give you a warning / penalty. And there are some that you can just skirt that white line a little bit more and get away with it. And I think you're right about this track. I mean, the times that you can potentially cut a corner, it will invalidate you and give you a warning straight away. As Connor, 12.3, exactly the same time as Rob Smith, but on the mediums. That's a good lap.
Yeah, and Airways as well, 90 going up top with a 111.8 straight into pole position. Excellent lap from him, 2-lap old softs.
Yeah. But yeah, it's one that there are. You mentioned turn 3. Just to mention one of them, there is the turn. I'm going to say it's 7. I could be wrong. Which is the end of the DRS straight,
yes.
The chicane. That's easy to invalidate the first part of there as well, and then of course the final chicane where the World Champions is. That's also very, very easy to invalidate that. And they will do it very, very quickly, and very easily.
I think the only one that's really maybe worth the risk is that last corner, the Wall of Champions, because if you can get the perfect line and not invalidate through there, I reckon you can get a couple of tenths, if not half a second maybe. It depends on how carefully you take that corner. But if you take it straight, then you can make a load of time. Get it wrong, of course, though, and your reward will be a missing front right wheel, because you go bang smack into the wall. Have we seen a lot of drama down there at Canada this week so far?
No, I think the bits I've seen has been very well behaved. They've all been kind of looking out for that, and I think it's been elsewhere on the track that we've seen a few of the incidents, usually out of, I'm going to have to count the corners now, 5, 6, maybe turn 7, which is onto the DRS straight, that long, very difficult right-hander, where it's difficult to get the throttle on without the rear spinning up. That seems to be the one that's caused a lot of problems. And also out of 8 and 9, which is the other, the next chicane out of that. That's, I think they're the most problematic, you could call them, corners so far this week. But everyone seems to be very well behaved, I think, especially around the Wall of Champions that I've seen so far.
Well, I hope that everybody is very well behaved in Tier 3 tonight. Can get a bit spicy from time to time, but that's just racing, isn't it? I mean, I think the thing that people forget when you're around Canada is, you go to somewhere like Monaco or Baku and you've got street circuit in your head. You want to keep it out the walls all the time. Canada, because it's sort of a hybrid, it sort of follows that Melbourne design. You forget about the walls a little bit, I think, or you forget about them until all of a sudden you've been pushed into one and you find yourself hurtling towards one, and then your race is over very quickly. So I think drivers have to take that into account, know when to push, know where those bailout areas are on the track, because it is more forgiving than a place like Monaco, which only has like 1 or 2. There are several around here, mostly in the hard braking zones. I'm just on board with Jazz now, and that's that first DRS zone as you come down. I think it is 7-8 as you come down into that right left-hander. You've got all that big runoff area on the left there, so if you do get it wrong, my advice is to head off track and try and avoid other cars if possible, because if you make contact, you will just ping somebody into a wall and you'll ruin somebody else's race, and nobody wants that.
No, exactly. I had a little bit of that myself in the early laps of on Tier 1, but it was all fair, and then the rest of it didn't, but the additional part was okay. Yeah, you're exactly right, and I think with Canada, you're right, it is, I think that's the perfect term, the hybrid like a Melbourne. It is still a street circuit, the walls are still very close, but I wonder if it's because there is kind of a lot, before a lot of the walls, there is a very small, as you can see outside of turn 1 I'm on with Jazzboy now, and along the side of the track there is a small amount of grass that just kind of, it doesn't give you a buffer, because if you're on there you're in the wall. It just feels like it gives you a bit of cushion. That a street circuit like Monaco, like I've never seen someone get a penalty for illegal blocking before?
No, he's just coming out the pits. I just saw what was going on. Maybe the stewards will have to have a look at that. Unfortunately, nothing we can do, I'm afraid. We can't do stewarding in between the qualifying and the race, so Mats will have to deal with that. But, yeah, fingers crossed there was nothing too malicious there.
Exactly.
I agree with you with the strip of grass gives you that buffer, but I also think it's kind of more dangerous than a Monaco. At Monaco, you know, you can go right up to the barriers and that's fine. It's tarmac and more tarmac, right? Round here, if you get it a bit wrong and push it too wide, then that grass, it's got no grip, isn't it? It will spin you or spear you into the barrier there. So you have to be really aware of the width of your car and most likely the width of the car next to you as well, because I think we're going to see a lot of side-by-side action through here. The one which sticks in my mind, and I think it was me and you years back, like years and years and years, I'm talking season 5 or 6 now, a brown trousers moment into that last chicane just before there. You don't want to be going side-by-side through there, do you? Because somebody's going to invalidate, somebody's going to go into a wall. You've got to really trust the person next to you that nobody's going to do anything too stupid.
Oh, 100%. And you're more than likely, I do remember seasons by gone that you and I have had quite a few really close wheel-to-wheel battles amongst numerous tracks. I remember China was one of them that we've had a few good fights in. Here as well. And I think you're probably right that we've had them here, and we've had I seem to get a lot of wheel-to-wheel action with people going through corners that you think, shouldn't really be side-by-side with them there, but you'd make it work, and you're right. It's all about the trust, and there are some drivers that you know that you can still race them hard and race them fair and race them clean, and there are some drivers you just think, this is not going to end well whatsoever.
The drivers you just get out of the way of,
Yeah, pretty much. You might be the faster car, or you have the line, or you have, the right to the corner. You still will move for certain drivers because you think, if I don't, I am going into a wall because they will not move.
Yep.
There are a few of those, unfortunately, which we're trying to crack down on in stewards, and we are trying to encourage people not to do silly things, which is why we have the sim damage rate now in Tier 1, where it will. The standard damage is on, but the rate is higher so that you can still damage other parts of your car. Myself, I have had a few spins this year and damaged the rear wing. Means you just cannot go around any corner at all anymore, so you might as well retire, which I have done. And that seems to play a big part in it, and the things you can damage now. And it's just trying to encourage drivers to not make silly lunges, not go side by side and force another driver off track. Because you must leave at least a car's width, and most of the time people don't.
Yeah, and if you're thinking about that in your head, if you're thinking about damaging your own car in the process rather than using your nose to nudge somebody out of the way, then you might think, the idea is that you might think twice further down the line before you go. I'm on board with a lot of people at the moment, by the way, as we get into the business end of qualifying. A lot of people invalidating laps now, which shows that they're really pushing things. This track, it started off cloudy. I wondered if it was going to rain towards the end, but it just seems to be getting brighter. So I imagine those times, Airways is still on top with that 111.8, but I want to see those times start to come down now as this track really starts to warm up and rubber in. We've got a couple of comments in the YouTube chat as well. Steve J saying good luck, gents, and go on B17, who's currently sitting in P8, the Aston Martin driving. Ant Huck says hello, and Colin Bay thinks Johnny Smooth is sandbagging his quali. Where is Johnny Smooth at the moment? 13th. Come on, Johnny, get those sandbags off. Show us what you're really made of.
Exactly that, yeah. And with it, the sun coming out, the temperature's going to rise on track. This will help the Tier 2 drivers, Connor and Simba, on those medium tyres as well to get the heat in them. Simba done some really good laps early on the hard tyres. He done a 1:12.9 in 9th currently. So he likes it round here when he is very quick round here. He was unlucky not to take the win in Tier 2 on Monday evening, but still had a great return to that championship as well. So he likes it, as like you mentioned, a lot of people do.
Yeah, I think it's one of the favourites. I think it's like one of Lewis Hamilton's favourites. It's a bit of a go-kart track, I think, in my head. It's how some of the drivers have described it. Not quite in the way that a place like Hungary is, but everybody just seems to say it's a real racer's track. It's got a good bit of challenge. And we were talking about B17. He's gone out. That's not the Wall of Champions. Let's see if it's Winky get on board. No, I've picked the wrong Mercedes, I'm afraid. Let's see if it's No, Donny, we're not going to see it. That incident has been cleared up. But it was just here on the left-hand side. You were talking about there earlier, that's a zone where it's really hard to get traction out, just before the first DRS zone. And if you're not running any traction control, you can lose the rear end so easily through there. And he's unfortunately been our first casualty in qualifying tonight.
He has, yes. Simba's put a 12-1 in on those mediums, a thousandth behind Baby Hornet, who is leaving the pits now. With Rob Smith already on an outlap. Julian's leaving the pit, Airways as well, so the top four just leaving the pit lane as we speak. Going to be the last ones, a few further back as well. I saw a McLaren in the background, that'll be Danny, it is.
Yeah, and I must say, we were talking about this before the stream went live, but Tier 3 this year, we are in round 9 already, and the leader in the championship has only 50 points. So put 2 wins together, and all of a sudden you are fighting up there. People like Rob Smith, who unfortunately has just spun around, so I will just go off him a second. But we've got Rob Smith up the top, Donny, Melvin up there, Baby Hornet, even DRS Julian, only with 18 points, but a win tonight could catapult him further up the table into the top 5. We start to see a lot of competitive drivers able to do a lot of good things, and a little bit of consistency late on in the season, and we could see a new Tier 3 champion emerge.
100%. I think we have struggled. A lot of them have. We've had a. It's not nice to say it out loud on stream for all of our viewers, but it's the simple fact that Tier 3 drivers have been the most unreliable, and a lot of them are close to losing their seats. You sign up to race every week, you have 30% leeway margin, holidays of course, and family events, etc, etc. Of course, real life takes over, naturally. But you sign up to race. This is what we do, and it's difficult for those who do all the organisations and run the tiers and run everything else and then find reserves at the last second. Right, we have tonight, we have Simba, we have Connor, just to mention too, Ant's there as well, who doesn't set a lap time, he is Tier 1. And we do that all the time. Winky, I do believe Tier 4, I could be wrong, Wee Willie Winkle. But, you know, and we're doing this a lot, and that's the problem with it. That is why I think we have such... What didn't you mention, like the guy at the top's only raced 2-3 races all season?
All the rest are DNFs or no appears, but the 2 appearances he has made are the 2 wins, and that's enough to put him in leading the championship. I don't think any F1 champion has won by racing only 30% of the races in a season. So this is what I'm saying. Turn up, and you should get. See, I'm on board with Mr. Monaco now. Baby Hornet, fresh after that win. Oh, he didn't quite go faster, 1.2, so he needs to improve a little bit more. He's going to have to push a bit quicker. Julian.
Sorry, I was on with Hornet. I think he bailed on his lap. He still got a lot of his ERS, but his teammate, Connor, went straight on at turn 1, and nearly, that was nearly catastrophic. That was nearly really bad. Yeah, but Baby Hornet is still on his way. He's nearly lost the back end. Oh, he's collected the Haas. I think that was not on purpose, but that is so unlucky. I'll tell you what, it was Simba that he collected the back of, but there's well, that'll be okay. I'm sure they're in a party tonight as well, actually, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's all chaos at the moment. I'm trying to see who's on a quick lap, who's out there. Simba, of course, Tier 2. Our lead at the moment. Ewes is bailed, so he's happy with the front row of the grid, as it seems. Connor,
put Julian's up, I think, on his time.
Yeah, let's stick with him then. He goes down into Sector 2. What is it? Yeah, he's down 0.12, so he's going to have to find a little bit extra if he wants to threaten that front row of the grid, but it's all possible. He's so close to the wall there. It's all about risk-reward. Are we going to see the big banzai move down into that chicane on the wall of champions? Can he make it stick? It is all down here. This is where great racers are made. So
I like the line through there. I like that line. Can he do? Oh, he lost it.
Not quite.
Oh, no.
Couldn't improve. So that is it. Now I'll just go down as Geke Matthew. No, he's going into the pits. Connor, you said, had that big moment at turn 1, and he's missing a front wing, so I think he'll be going into the pits as well. And Simba is trundling around very slowly, keeping out everybody's way after having a wee bit of an incident down there with another Red Bull. But I think once he finds his way back to the pits, that will be the end of the session. So that'll be our grid for Tier 3 tonight. Rain in Canada. Can it happen? Is it one of those tracks where the weather can be a little bit unpredictable?
Yes. In short, it is. I think. Was it Tier 2 that had a bit of rain? I think, and I think actually a bit of Tier 1 had rain towards the end as well. So it is one of those tracks that doesn't usually just rain a little bit. It absolutely pours and is a monsoon. So it's going to be, if it does. To be fair, if it's, I'm not racing. We're okay. We're warm. I've got my foot up resting and a rum in hand, standard, and I'd love it if it rained.
Well, let's see what happens.
It'd be great.
Yeah, let's see what happens. I think if you are in the race tonight and you know the weather forecast, let us know so we can see what's going on.
I was on board with somebody, ran out of fuel. He was full throttle over the line. I couldn't get over the line.
Why it was so slow. So let's take you through the Tier 3 grid you've got tonight. So it is Simba in the Haas in P1, Airways P2 in the Alpha Tauri, DRS Julian 3rd, Connor 4th, Rob Smith 5th, Baby Hornet 6th, Ghost Rider 7th, Scottish Ninja 8th, B17 in the Aston Martin 9th, and Donny in the Williams makes up the top 10. Then we've got Mutts Nuts 11th, Fire Rooster 12th, RFC Danny in the McLaren P13, Winky in the Mercedes P14, Johnny Smooth in the Williams P15, Geke Matthews 16, Jazz in the Alpha, Avinash in the Ferrari, CB Sambal in the Alpine, and Ant, our Tier 1 driver, did not set a time. So, out of all of those, any that you fancy tonight, anybody to look out for in the Tier 3 grid?
Grant, Scottish Ninja had a great race on Friday in MRCX. Can't discount Rob Smith as well. Although the other week when we had a load of glitches, he said he was sick of me in the chat, so I shouldn't really be rooting for him, even though I do. Simon, Baby Hornet, again, another strong one, so it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of things that can play into this as well, and you've got, of course, the Tier 2 guys, Connor and Simba up there as well, so... You know, Airways as well. Great qualifying from him. Didn't unfortunately make it right at the end and things. So I've got my eye on a couple, as I mentioned, and it is raining.
Oh, look at that!
Oh!
Speak of it, and it will come.
I'm excited.
The rain gods are there. That's looking like a mild drizzle, so I'm going to suspect that Inters will be the choice of the day. Is it going to brighten up towards the end, or are we going to just see this rain come down heavier and heavier? Whatever it is, we're in for a wet race. Adjust your braking zones, boys. Make sure you just brake a little bit earlier into each corner. Keep it out of the wall, and fingers crossed we won't have a big safety car fest. Remember, we do have the formation lap on, so we will be going for a little spin before we go on, and red flags are turned on, but I don't want to see any tonight. I don't want to see you back in the pit lane. Just keep the track clear, and let's all have fun out there. All right?
Exactly that, and it's going to be slippy. Give room. We were talking about it earlier. Don't force the way through. Give room to people, and show respect. That's what it is, racing respect.
Yeah.
You're right, I think it is going to be intermediate tyres for the grid. And it didn't dawn on me, and it only just has now, because I'm very slow on the uptake of most things in life, that the times were a little bit distant. Actually, everyone's on dry tyres, most on mediums, some are on the softs.
Yeah.
So it's not wet enough.
That's what I
so
thought.
interesting. Is it going to clear you up in the next 5 minutes or so? Wow. Okay.
Clearly it thinks there's a crossover point. Sorry, carry on with your point.
Who's got... The times were a bit away from what you'd expect, because the gaps between each tier is so close, especially in qualifying. That 11.8, you would expect... I would have thought maybe a mid-11s for a pole time. So I'm wondering if the drivers have got a bit more downforce, a bit more higher wings, knowing that it's going to be maybe this kind of drizzly weather, or not really understanding or expecting how wet it's going to be. So I wonder if there's a lot more wet setups involved in qualifying.
That's a good point. I think I didn't notice that until you've just said it. But yeah, that's would be sensible. And I always think that having a setup for the race is so important. I know qualifying you can get a few positions, and there's a couple of places, for example, like Monaco, where yes, qualifying is king. But most of the time, if you've got a setup that won't keep you out of a wall or won't last 5 laps because your tyres burn up, put it in the bin, forget about it. We run 50% races here in MRC. It is a marathon, not a sprint. So, yeah, good on you if you've decided to add just a little bit more wing for that, added stability to your car, because you are going to need it, particularly in these greasy conditions. Simba's lining up. I will just go on back with Ant, who's starting on the softs, our Tier 1 driver at the back. He'll be the last to line up on the grid, and then we will go racing.
I'll tell you what's quite critical. We've seen the inside line, where Simba is, the odd numbers, be a bit better off the line than those that you'd think are on the racing line, because it's a weird racing line here. Some people in qualifying will take the short run to the line, which is across where 2, 4, 6, 8 is, and the general racing line is a sweeping through turn 1 to take that the way they take the start finish. So it's a strange line. However, you seem to find Airways being disqualified could be key.
See what happens. You see the lights go on there. We're at 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. We're going to hold. How long are we going to hold? Ant's already had a drive-through penalty. Baby Horn has a jump-through penalty for a jump start, but we are away. Simba squirreling away from the line there, and it's Airways who's got the better run. Simba has the one up the inside. They're going side by side into turn 1. Is it going to be the AlphaTauri or the Haas that comes out on top? They're still battling. I think the AlphaTauri has the better line, and yes, it's Airways up into P1. What an excellent start from him, showing the Tier 2 man how it's done, and he's in the lead on the medium tyres. How are we looking back down the rest of the field? I can't see many scraps.
Well, they've just completely thought me wrong, haven't they? So that's great. Thanks for that, boys. Completely proved everything I just said on the grid totally wrong. Geki's not at the best of starts. Avinash has had a great one. He's up 4 spots already. They're battling the Williams boys in the outreach to the top 10. Rob Smith had a poor start as well. He's now down 4 spots as well, now down to 9th. But the Williams, oh my god, there's 3 abreast. The Williams RC, Danny Firehoost is there as well, trying to get involved or just seeing what they can do. And there's, oh my goodness me, and that was Danny going wide. Oh, good, all safe though. And everyone was leaving racing room, hard but fair at the top there.
Oh yeah, we got Simba at the top there as well as Connor. Let's see what's going on there. I think they were side by side. So there's a bit of a battle for the lead. It's all going on at the back there. My cat's just brought a dead mouse into the house as well, so apologies if I'm a bit more chaotic than normal, trying to get everything done. She's picked the best moment. Connor go for a big lunge on Simba. He's cut the corner there. I think he just got his braking point completely wrong, and the stewards will be having a look at that safety car. Virtual safety car. Where's that happen?
Not sure.
Oh, there's a McLaren though with Scottish Ninja losing a big bit of his wing.
Grand. Hit the back of Simba. I'm trying to see, there's a lot of drivers nipping at the pits. There's some wing damage on the pit straight, Winky's in the pits, so I'm not sure exactly.
Oh, and look at the tyres they're going on to though.
Oh, I haven't got that one.
It's the Inters for both the Williams drivers, so they've tried a couple of laps on these dry tyres and said no, I think I'll be far more comfortable on the Inters. Let's just bring up the tyres then.
I feel sorry for Grant, Scottish Ninja. The softs, they would have worked quite well, but fortunately no front wing for him. He's going to be hoping that, Much Nuts as well, virtual safety car drive through. Oh no, it has gone green. That's the worst possible thing that could have happened to Scottish Ninja with his broken front wing. He is, that's so unlucky. But a long way to go. Oh, baby Hornet, wow, good control.
Yeah, people are looking very squirrely out there at the moment. Clearly the game is saying that it's at the crossover point and maybe you want to be on the dry tyres, but it's a battle, particularly if you're running no traction control. He's going side by side with Scottish Ninja there, but he's going to be slow. He's not going to have any aero down this straight. Just keep out the way and make sure everything on Baby Hornet is going to go through. And in the back there, we've got Ghost Rider and B17 side by side as we go down into the last chicane. Who's going to give way? It's going to be Ghost Rider. It's going to just come behind B17.
So DRS is now enabled, so it is dry enough. But I'm watching these gaps with the 2 Williams guys on the Inters. Donny caught Gekate over 2 seconds that lap and made the pass. A lot of other drivers have come in the pits as well now. Scottish Ninja's gone for the hard tyres. Wow, he's looking to go late in the race. I don't know. Oh, it's a bit slippery. He's going to struggle to get the grip. But as much as I said the Inters were quick, look at the laps are coming in soft tyre, then a medium tyre from Julian. So you're right, this is right on the crossover, and Donny in 12th is a first man on the Inters. that gap with Avinash has come down quite considerably already since he passed Geke. So that is something, a battle that I'm going to be keeping my eye on and seeing how these guys get on. What can Johnny Smooth do on the back of Mutsnuts with Anton as well, with Fire Rooster as well for close company. So this is going to be really key, and see if these guys will try to keep on this, or are they going to bail on the tyres and think, okay, worth a go, and it hasn't worked, we'll keep an eye. Keep an eye on it at the minute. So the car doesn't look too bad. He's already taken a second, has Donny, since I've been talking, off the back of Jazzboy and Avinash, who are having a good battle with Sambal as well.
They are. They're having a right old scrap here. I'm just going to stay on board with CB Sambal, Avinash and Jazz all coming down to that corner. It's so hard for them to get the anchors out. DRS is available, which would suggest that the dry tyres are fine, but you're right. Look at Donny now, right on the back of that group. It was 3 seconds at the start of the last lap. It's now down to just 0.6. Maybe a risk to go on the inters, but if it works out, or if you make up the spaces now, he just seems to have so much more control, so much more rear end than those cars in front of him.
Yeah, the front end as well, I'm riding on board with him. He's taking his time though, just thinking, okay, these guys are going to struggle for grip, so he's just looking at it and working out where he's going to go. But I'm just looking at the fastest laps as well. Most of the guys are in the 23, 24. Simba did a 121.6 and Donny has done a 121.1. So Johnny Smooth, the other one, a 121.8. So they're the guys on the move. JMS Julian's in the 121s as well. So these guys are on the move. But it's going to be so interesting to see how this is going to play out.
Yeah, he seems to have better sort of traction out of the corners, but when it comes to the straight, he doesn't seem to have enough straight line speed to get any done, and I think he might get a little bit frustrated behind this train that is starting to form behind CBG Sambal. Who else have we got scrapping right at the front? We've got RFC Danny and Ghost Rider. I'm just going to go on board with those two.
But he's not been a bit hit and miss from Jazzboy, who's, I don't know if it's part glitching or part moving, but he's gone straight on the last chicane, and that's allowed Donny past. He was going to make the move anyway, and now Donny's gone through on Avinash, and that just looked like he was taking candy from a baby, but he's so much better on the brakes with a safety car.
Yeah, Nuts out. I can't see where it is. It on the start finish straight. Was it Champs?
It is. Winky's gone through. I actually don't know what it... Oh, yeah, I think it was. There was a bit of debris there.
Yeah, the dots have disappeared, but that's a safety car, so that's a chance for the field to just straighten out again. Donny, the big...
track looks drier, though. The track doesn't look as damp as it did. The rain is definitely easing off. Would you... If you're those Inters guys, you're going to have a couple of laps, and it is stopping raining now. You kind of feel you have to pit.
To me, it looks bone dry. I can't see a single drop of water falling on those cars at the moment. So maybe right at the start of the race, Inters were the right call, but it's only been getting drier and drier. If I was Donny or I was one of the Williams, Donny was the only one who really made any moves, wasn't it? Johnny Smooth was still struggling at the back.
Yeah.
So, I would say that it is into the pits. Let's see if any of our front runners decide to go into the pits either. Airway, Simba, Connor, all deciding to go past. Ghost Rider is our front runner on the softs. Is he deciding he's going to go in? Yes, he is. So let's see what tyre he decides to take on. Tyre strategy around here. Usually a mix between like a one-stop and a two-stop, I think. How far can you take a pair of hards that Ghost Rider is about to put on now? Will they go all the way to the end of the race?
3 laps for me. So I don't know is the honest question. But you're right, we've seen in X and things. Colin, I know you're looking at ERS levels. We try not to show them, my friend, just for other people who race engineering, can give a sort of an unfair advantage, if you like, especially if there's battles going on. So we do try to keep them away. We show them occasionally, but yeah, it's tyres. I think a lot of people were trying to make the mediums go a long way. I know a few of the top tier 1 guys in X especially made the softs go a good 15-16 laps, which made it viable to use the soft medium strategy. I don't know if they would go that far personally. I mean, I'm hard on my tyres anyhow. I feel like I am, so I would go probably hard to soft. Maybe me, I don't know what I would do, to be honest. I think the hards could go this long. It would be a hard press to do nearly 13 laps I think they would have to go to the soft slate on.
Yeah, it's looking. I was looking at my own track guide that I put together for this, just to remind myself. Recommended strategy was 14 laps on the softs, 21 on the hards. That's the longest one it suggests. Now, it's not saying that they won't last 30, particularly if you get a couple more safety cars. But we've all seen in this game in particular how much tyre delta matters, right? If you get a late safety car, there is no point staying out on a very worn set of tyres because you will get absolutely eaten up by cars on a fresh set of softs behind. The softs will only last 5 laps, but they'll do the job in a 5-lap sprint right towards the end. So, yeah. Iron Ghost Rider.
Donny has now pitted off the Insters. I think he's left it a lap late, though. Yes, he could have pitted first time round and he's taken the extra lap. Put the hards on, but he's lost a lot more places than I think he could have done originally. So, back down to 16th. Fresh set of hard tyres on, he'll go a long way into this race. But as you mentioned, the tyre delta is going to be key.
Yep. Tyre delta, very important around here. We've got, obviously, look at the top 10, all on the same strategy there. 6-lap old medium tyres. So whoever comes out of that quickest probably is the quickest at the moment. Let's have a quick look at time penalties as well, just while we wait for the safety car to come in. Connor with a 3-second penalty, Baby Hornet with a 3-second penalty, so that's both Red Bulls. Christian Horner won't be happy, and Johnny Smooth, somewhere along the way, has also picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. But the news you all want to hear is that the safety car will be in this lap. We will go racing again. Let's go on board with Simba, our car in second place, to see when he goes and how he reacts to Airways in front. Where do you go in Canada? Do you go before the chicane or after the chicane if you want to make the most and try and get a speedy getaway?
Usually if I'm leading, I try and go about the apex of the last corner, because I have, or just as I hit the apex, because then you're building the speed while you still have to turn. And he has gone, Airways has gone just beforehand to get the momentum. He's caught Simba a little bit napping that time, but Simba last time out in Tier 2 I should say, sorry, was very much on the ball, and he got caught a little bit that time, but not too badly.
I don't think he expected him to go quite that early, but sometimes in a safety car start, when the field is bunched together, you want to give yourself a little bit of space just so you don't be too aggressive off the start and find yourself in the back of the car in front. Simba doing well there. Those gaps starting to spread out to about a second. Remember that we won't have the DRS available until the end of the next lap. Who have we got charging up the field? I think Avanash is the one. He started way back down the field, but look at how much more traction he's got on CVG Sandbar. They're going to go side by side into the left-right. Is he going to go for a move here? No, CVG Sandbar just closes that off. But I reckon that move is only a matter of time. Look as he goes for the old switcheroo, and I think they're going to also be battling all the way down to the hairpin as they come out. Look at that camera angle now. CVG Sandbar's got the inside line. Avanash going to go slightly tighter. He's got the Haas, and yes, look at that car wiggling, and now it's going to be a straight drag race all the way down to that last chicane. World champion CB Samuel using all the track there. He moves right, he moves left. Remember, you're only allowed one defensive move. He's got to stick in his line.
Yeah, there's a bit. Okay, it's touch and go, but okay. But he outbraked himself. Is Avanash going to get the run this time? He had to move because Sambo was a bit snaky and it moved across a little bit. I think that cost Avanash the run a little bit. It's going to be who's latest on the brakes. Avanash thinking, moving on. I'm going to watch something else because
it's nice that CB Samuel is making his car incredibly wide. If it's legal, we'll leave you up to decide at home. But these cars, they've been fighting all the way through this lap, and Avanash is going to have another go. He's going to take, you don't usually overtake there. They're in contact. And the Ferrari's in the wall.
Oh. And so is Airways.
Airways has gone as well.
He was the leader. We've got another safety car. He's lost it outside of turn 5. Like we say, it was easy to do there. And he has lost it in the wall on the inside.
Yeah, you can see there the debris. Goodness me, that was chaos for a second there. We had the overhead view of Avanash as well. He was fighting tooth and nail with CBG. Fortunately, came off.
He's out as well.
Yeah, he got the very rough end of that. So. We're all back to normal. Another safety car here. Things to be brought up in the steward's room, maybe. Do remember, if you feel aggrieved, please report it. That's what we're here for. We don't want a million reports, but we do want reports to make sure that if you feel aggrieved, that we can stamp on behaviour if you feel that it's wrong. So, don't feel like, I don't bother or I don't mind. Yeah, just get it in there and we'll have a good look at it. But going to neutralise the field once more. Most of the medium runners choosing to stay out again. We've only got one into the pit, and that's Jazzball. Is he about to move on to the hard tyre? Has he got damage? He's got damage, so that's why he's in for a new nose, and I think he'll also be taking on a fresh set of, what was that, medium tyres. So he's gone medium to another set of medium, so he'll have to take a set of softs if he wants to get the regulated tyre change in at the end.
Yeah, and Ant has pitted as well. He's saying he's had to let cars by to avoid them causing a crash. That doesn't sound ideal. But he's pitted, he was on the soft, so perfect time to pit. I'm surprised Winky didn't as well. 8 laps on the softs, yes, a couple of behind safety car, but just be ideal time to get rid of them, I would think.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Connor, was that a flash? I thought I was running with... No, he's got a front wing. That's my eyes playing tricks on me. So the field will level out again. We'll probably get one more lap of this. So a little bit of a chat. We were talking earlier in the week, I think, just casually, about how overtaking in this game is different for me. We've got people saying, oh, there's a lot of dive bombs this year. For me, I think that it is a combination of the power of ERS and DRS are incredibly powerful in this game, far more than any of the previous ones. That combined with how different tyres can feel, like a fresh pair of softs, compared to mediums that are 10 laps old. Those soft runners, they feel far more confident going for the move. Do you think that's contributing a little, that the physics of this game are leading to a bit more argy-bargy when it comes to sort of side-by-side Apex racing?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right, especially with the setup as well. I think the setup's the way the suspension geometry and the anti-roll bars are quite a bit different from previous iterations of the game. That creates a totally different feel to the car, as well as you mentioned, the tyre strategies and the wing and things. I think you're right. There's quite a lot different, and as well the people that use ABS, for example, and the people that use traction control to those who don't. I think those differences in where you can brake and how you can get on the throttle is quite a lot different than. And there's a big gap between them than there has been in previous generations. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it was in Spain I was up against, I think Gav's used a bit of traction control. I can't remember now, but there was... I don't think he does. I don't think he used anything. I think the only thing he used, because he's on control at the moment, with him jet setting all over the world. And not by choice, unfortunately, for him. But he can the only thing he can't do on controller is manual gears.
Fair enough.
So he is on auto gears, but he doesn't use any other assists.
Well, in that case, I was just incredibly slow out this corner, but I was feathering my throttle out this corner in Spain, and Gav seemed to, every time he was behind me, seemed to be going a million miles quicker. And I know that sort of traction control around here is meant to be slower over a lap, but I do wonder if out of particular corners, if it gives them a slightly... an advantage or a way of them saying, like, slightly getting the run on people. The safety car is in this lap, by the way, and I think Simba has gone early. Yeah, I thought he was going to take it all the way down to the end, but no, he's gone. RFC Danny's behind. That was a good move from him. He kept Connor napping a little bit, and we've got the two Tier 2 drivers now in lead of this Tier 3 race.
Yeah, this is important for Danny. He's had a couple of him and where's he gone? Grant there, his teammate. Had a few hit and miss results, unfortunately, lost a bit of confidence, so this will do the world of good for Danny. Oh, apart from he clips the wall, the exit at turn 4. Not ideal, you don't be doing that too often.
No, and it's...
No damage though, luckily for him, but he's got Rob Smith right behind him. That's...
Rob Smith! Stop looking at it at all. CB Sambal, it is the truly train behind him as well. Look at this swarm of cars, 4 behind him. We're going to go too wide. Look, and there's a very dicey move there from the Alpine.
He collected it. I think that was Donny. He got collected a bit. It was from Ghost Rider, who was trying to get a little bit on his teammate, and that's allowed Baby Hornet through.
Yeah, that was... that's remember, he goes very wide there. I think he makes contact with the outside wall as well. We were talking about that hairpin, how important it is to get it hooked in. And it's going to be another drag race.
It is, and I'm sorry, there's... Yeah, I can't call this on stream. I'm going to try not to call this on stream, but some of the driving I'm seeing from one person isn't ideal. However, we carry on. No damage at the moment, so we carry on and move on.
Virtual safety car, virtual, so everybody has to calm down. We'll just settle the field back down again. Yeah, it's just some basics of racing we've got to get right. That was a... we were talking about different braking zones and how it was. There was no DRS involved in that move with the two Alpines, but I think it was certainly a missed braking zone. He came from so far behind, and the last thing you want to do is be tapping into your teammate. Fingers crossed everybody got away, pointing in the right direction, and I can't see any end plates missing. But yeah, just remember to keep your cool. We're on lap 13 of 35. We've had two safety cars, two virtual safety cars. Hopefully we can make it to the end of this race without any more interruptions, because yeah, there's a long way to go. Virtual safety car still on. I wonder when it's going to go. Remember, we've got to keep to the speed limit. There's a big train forming once again behind Sambal, and I do wonder if this is what we're going to see.
Experience as well that the tyre deltas, just like that from Fire Rooster, when it goes green, it can jump so quickly. I'd found that out numerous times to my cost, and yeah, it's very difficult. I wonder if Hornet's running a very high downforce because he's just got alabsolutely... Oh, come on! Down the straight there, that's very harsh movement there.
That's two Alpines through, and Baby Hornet, as you said, he seems to be being swallowed up by the rest of the pack. Donny's the next one to go through. Is he? No, he goes very wide. There's been contact there.
Contact! Unfortunately, into Ghost Rider.
So we will see what happens after all that. That's all of that battling and all that chaos means that Sambal has made a little gap for himself. I think he was the cork in the block before, but he's now 0.9 seconds up the rest of the field. It's Scottish Ninja who's the man. And look at the Williams there. The Mercedes seemed to stop. The Williams didn't care, had a different line, and through goes Johnny Smooth up into P8. Very ambitious move there, and I wonder if the Mercedes man is going to take that line down. He's right up the back of them, but both of them have DRS. It's not going to get through, but the Williams has gone very deep into that corner. It's a big corner cut, and yet he's done the right thing. I think he's ceded the place to the McLaren driver. We'll go back up into 8th. All happening here. I'm just going to keep with this battle here between the Williams, the McLaren and the Williams. He's in a bit of a sandwich at the moment. The problem the Williams has behind is that he won't have the DRS. Is Scottish Ninja going to go for a move? No, thinks better of it, but he will have a second bite the cherry down into Tier 1. Double DRS zone, remember, which can be so valuable around here. Avanash has left the session. He had a bit of a crash earlier. He's all over the back. The Williams won't let him through, and somehow Johnny Smooth again has made the move. A little bit of contact down into Turn 1. This is a real ding-dong battle between these two. Can't look away. Let's see where else we've got some battles up and down the field. I'm going to go to Rob Smith, actually. Rob Smith and RFC Danny up the top. This is the battle for podium position, or net P1 of the race lead in Tier 3. Remember, the top two are Tier 2 drivers, so this battle matters a little bit more.
It certainly does. Sorry, I was just dealing with something with the stewarding a little bit there.
Oh, that's all right. We'll just keep on. Well, we've got the Williams going at it once more. Johnny Smooth and Donny, they might be teammates, but there doesn't seem to be any communication between the two of them. They both want the move, and it's the McLaren as he goes for the move around the outside. These lot just can't seem to stay away. There's a bit of a battle there, and I think, yes, that McLaren has lost a bit of its end plate, so he will suffer a little bit going into the corners. Might have the extra lack of drag, the extra straight line speed down here, though. Who's going to be first? We're going to go 3 wide. We're going to go 3 wide into this corner. No, we're not. Thankfully, somebody backed out. But goodness me, that McLaren has no downforce, and he's lost another end plate. But the entire front wing now.
The full wing. Oh, Grant, this has gone so badly for you. I feel sorry for you. Why did Horner get a drive-through? When did Baby Horner get a drive-through? And now he's unfortunately been disqualified from the race for not taking it. That's so strange. I don't understand when he got it.
Yeah, unless it was under the virtual safety car, but I don't remember seeing it flash up on the screen.
I didn't either.
Glitched lobby again. That would just be the cherry on a very rubbish cake, but it is Scottish Ninja somehow staying ahead with no front wing. Ant in the AlphaTauri passed it. Yeah, that Scottish Ninja will have to pit. He's playing bumper cars now with the Canadian borders. He's just not got any downforce on the front of that car, and he's going to have to stay out the way before he becomes a bit of a hazard around here.
Yeah, so unlucky for him as well. He's still got half the race to go though, so, you know, if he gets in the pits, strap a set of mediums on, and he can easily go to the end, I think, on the set of mediums from here. Especially if there's a safety car, will bunch the field up, and as we've seen, it can happen so quickly. I think that could be a good option for him to do, and he's still got a long way to go, so I would take that chance, give that a go, as long as you slow down in time for the pit lane, and it'll help you. Winky's gone 14 laps on his tyres. Yep. He's done quite well.
You can go 14 laps. That is one of the recommended strategies, 14 laps on the softs and then onto a pair of hards to take you the rest of the way. Rob Smith as well, by the way. We just saw the end of that battle between him and RSC Danny. He is up into P3, which, remember, is the net lead of the Tier 3 race. So excellent move for him. Now he'll just want to put in an extra second and get out of DRS zone, because if you can gap the person behind, it makes such a difference around here. CB Sambal picking up a time penalty as Ant, our Tier 1 driver, started at the back of the grid. And you can see what makes him Tier 1. He's just had a methodical race here, just hasn't done anything silly, taken his chances when they've come, and he's making some moves. Gorgeous overhead shot there, but I think it is just a matter of time before that Alpine finds himself down in P7. I'm going to move back down the field. We've got Jazz and Johnny Smooth as well, lining up a bit of a move out of the hairpin. As we said, it's all about traction and how much ERS you want to spend. How easy is it to recharge your ERS down here? Because there's a lot of temptations to spend it.
There is. It's definitely more temptation to spend it than there is to save. I think this isn't the worst track to pick it up. There's not a huge amount of heavy braking zones, but really turn 1 and the hairpin are the heaviest braking zones, you'd say, but there are plenty of braking zones. It's a short dash, usually between the chicane, so it's not that bad, I think, personally, to charge it. Then again, I'm one of those that doesn't really use it a lot anyway. I sometimes forget it's there.
Well, hey, remember, I was one of those people that says you spend it if it's going to help you. Just want to make sure you've got a little bit of the Type B17 going a bit sideways in the background there. Did struggle, and that's put him in the path of Ghost Rider, who, he's got the better exit out that corner, and he's going to make it up into P10, the last of the point-scoring positions. And just behind Donny as well, we said that he got past CB Sambal last lap, and look at the gap he's made already on that driver. He made 3 seconds in 1 lap, and I think it's going to be yet another victim for the Tier 1 man.
Well, I'll tell you something, though, that we've kind of... Connor's got a second penalty now. It got brighter. It started off wet, got brighter, and it's clouded over quite a lot more since.
Ooh, I wonder
if it's going to stay like this, or if we're going to see a few spots later on. I can't wait for that, because there's a few gaps that have opened up a little bit. We've got Jazzboy, Johnny Smooth are the closest battles, but from RSC Danny on Rob Smith has been happening for a few laps now. But this battle, Jazzboy nearly out of turn 2, nearly went round. Good save.
A lot of drivers really battling now with the rear end of the car. Those tyres starting to get very old. Look at those runners up front. I don't think they've made a single pit stop yet. Yeah, nobody. Ant has made 1 pit stop later, as we've got a Williams there. That's Johnny Smooth having a bit of trouble out that corner. RFC Danny, I don't know if he's had a moment or whatever, but he finds himself down in 6th place as well. So all happening here.
Done, because we've got I don't know, I'm lost now. I've got Sambal's made a mistake, so Sambal's the one that's dropping down the order into turn 8 and 9. Nearly caught D17 out there as well as he was coming through. Ghost Rider's through. Ghost Rider's fighting with Jazzboy as well through the hairpin. And who's that side by side as well? That's Julian, Andy, and Johnny as well. So, wow. I'm trying to work out who's who.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of red and blue going on. That's what we've got.
There's so much going on side by side. You can look at those cars fighting as the Alfa Romeo has to take some avoiding action there, has to cut the corner, so he does the right thing to make sure that he doesn't cause the crash, but that's not going to help his race. B17 up into P10. It's a real ding-dong battle all the way down from DRS Julian to these boys. DRS Julian as well is one to watch out for. He's got the fastest lap of the race on a pair of halves, unless he's spending all of his ERS, or he's got some real pace in the Alfa Romeo tonight.
Yeah, he's got plenty left. That's the thing about this game. I know Colin Bay said early on about, can we see the ERS levels? One thing that this game has done, obviously, as we all know now, it shows it so clearly at the bottom of everybody's steering wheel. I don't like it, to be honest, because every steering wheel is pretty much the same apart from the Williams, naturally. But every single screen on every single wheel, and I'm just flicking through the Red Bull, the Mercedes, the McLaren. The screen on the steering wheels are all the same now.
Oh, sorry.
I've just noticed it, and I knew they always showed the ERS. Sorry, go on, you were seeing something else.
No, I start to see some drops of rain on my screen.
We do! Yay! Oh, Ghost Rider's just got it wrong at the last chicane as well.
Yeah,
this could be seeing the penalties come thick and fast now.
Wait, Johnny Smooth is into the pits. What's he going to go on to? Yes, it is a pair of inters for Johnny Smooth, so that might be a bit early. I wonder if those tyres will burn up, but he is the first to make the move and say, no, it's going to get damp soon. Fire Rooster into the pits as well. I do wonder if that's why some of those front runners that were taking those mediums a long way, they didn't decide to come in because they knew this weather was just around the corner.
Yeah, that could be right. Pit them as long as you can, and it makes you wonder. Winky's done the same, but you'd normally hold out for an extra lap before you come in, especially when it's only when DRS is disabled is when you would make that switch. But we had it activated earlier, and Donny was the one, the two Williams boys, funny enough, Donny was on the Inters, and he was making up ground like there's no tomorrow when the DRS was still activated. So, it's going to be an interesting one now, seeing what's going to happen, of who's going to blink first, who's got a different weather forecast from Elvis coming through their ears, and that's going to be the thing. And going back, I don't like the fact that I've just realised that every single steering wheel screen is exactly the same. Oh, was that the background that's hit the wall?
Who's that?
That was Jazz Boy outside the last corner, and he's lost his front wing.
Yeah, he's
just lost it. Did Kevin Magnussen.
Tell you what, that is the worst place to lose your front wing on the circuit, because you are the furthest away you can be from the pit lane entry. You've got a whole lap in greasy, slimy conditions there with no downforce on the front of your car. Fingers crossed you can make it all the way around and not bring out our third safety car of the evening.
Couple of pit stops.
Oh, saying that, sorry.
Oh, so there is a safety car. There he is, because of the damage. So there's a couple of pit stops. It's going to be interesting to see who takes this opportunity now to make the pits. You'd think the medium tyre runners up ahead and even Anton on the hards would pit. But we've got Donny and RSC Danny have pitted and come out in the medium. Sandball's come out in the softs, so has Fire Rooster. Whereas Johnny Smooth's just gone for and Winky, as we know, have gone for the Inters. This is another crossover period. I like this a lot. This is fun.
A lot.
Because I'm not involved.
Yeah, no. If I was involved, it's terrible. You've got a decision to make now, and this is what Simba and Connor and those race leaders are going to have to do. Do you stick on a dry pair of tyres and say, nah, it's going to be fine, or do you say, I could trust the rain, I think it's going to get heavier under the 2 or 3 laps we're going to have under the safety car, and go Inters? Simba's gone Inters, Connor has gone Inters, Ant has gone Inters. What's Rob Smith doing? Rob Smith is putting on a pair of hard tyres. So Rob Smith's he's the joker in the pack at the moment. He doesn't think that this weather's going to get any worse. That, or he's accidentally selected the wrong tyres and he is swearing under that helmet at the moment.
Yeah, and I think the hards are next to the Inter, so if he's maybe flicked the switch across and it's jumped back, maybe that's it.
Maybe that is it. It is certainly, you can see, whereas before we said that the track was clearly dry, you can start to see that greasy sheen come over it as well. CB Samba having a little twitch out there on soft tyres. If you put a pair of dry tyres on at the moment, at least you get a couple of sighter laps under the safety car to see what happens, because I've done it before. I've put on a pair of dries trying to beat the rush and then instantly gone, no, that was rubbish, and decided to bail on them almost immediately. So I wonder if any of those drivers will make the decision. I think this is going to be a bit of a protracted safety car period. I'm going to also keep my eye on Rob Smith to see if he dashes back in the pit to either correct what could be his mistake or move of genius. If the Is there no DRS?
I'll tell you what, Ant's just had a heck of a good slide into the hairpin. Yeah, I've done the same thing as you last season in Australia. Should have dried up, could have dried up, put the set of softs on, thought it was going to be a genius stroke under safety car. It didn't dry. So what could have been a great opportunity wasn't suddenly. So yeah, it wasn't very good, that one. Rob has come straight back in the pits as well, and it has got a lot wetter. Everybody other than Sambal, Jazzboy and Fire Rooster are on the Inters now.
Yeah, and that is such a shame. Remember, Rob Smith was right at the top. He was probably net lead of this race for the Tier 3 boys. Yeah. And all of a sudden he finds himself down with a big job to do down in P10. And is he going to lose a couple more spaces? I don't know if Sambal's sticking it out on the softs. Fire Rooster also saying no, he's not going to pit. I think the hards were like the worst tyre you could have been on to see if it's okay for dries, right? The softs are what you want because you're going to get the most traction out of that tyre if there is any traction to be found out there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. Yeah, hards are not the way to go. It's not the one at all. You don't want to be doing that.
Right, so as we line up for our third safety car of the night, I think we're going to have to wait for Geke Matti to catch up with the rest of this pack, so I reckon we've got one more lap. Oh, goodness me, on board with Fire Rooster there, just losing it out of the corner. I reckon every lap that goes on is getting worse and worse for those dry tyre runners. They really do have a decision to make. It's okay, you've made a mistake, it's okay to say you've got it wrong, because otherwise, when you have a mismatch of tyres on this game, it tells, isn't it? They are rubbish. Slick tyres on a wet track is not a strategy that Jarno Opmeer himself can make work, in my opinion.
No. No. And there were many people in this that try to, we of course watch his videos and try to be like him, and honestly don't have the same car control.
Not quite.
So there's something else. Please stop trying to be a top esports driver when you're not. Do it properly. Race to your ability. Tell you what, Simba's gone quite early, but he didn't necessarily back the pack up. He didn't actually put the hammer down. He just kind of went.
He did, and off he goes. And in P3, DRS Julian, I think, has had a cracking race. He had a bit of a mistake early on, but he's looking pretty racy behind the Tier 1 man, and they're on the same set of tyres. So I wonder what he can do here. Is he going to go for a move? No, I think he's right to back out of this one, but they're all very, very close. Johnny Smooth, Donny, and look who's falling back down the pack. CV Sambal, those softs are just not doing it for a massive twitch out of that corner. You can see how hard he's having to rev the thing. And yeah,
quick question, where did Rob Smith come out of the pits? Because I know he's just made a few places straight back up again.
He came out in P10, so I think that's been an excellent start from him to make so many spaces. And yeah, unfortunately those soft tyre runners are just going backwards and can't seem to get any grip in their tyres. Ghost Rider up past Julian. Gosh, there's a big incident down by
in that as well. Ghost Rider must have completely lost his brake, and so did some of the McLaren behind him. That was Danny. He must have dropped his brake, and he's collected Ant, I think, where that's come from. But this is helping. All of this ahead, and this squabbling, and the penalties. Rob Smith is still, as it currently stands, if he even if he makes a couple of places, that little mistake's not going to help you, mate. He's still technically in the net lead. Ghost Rider has had the damage, so he's pitted. Oh, yeah, a lot of damage to that. So Rob Smith, Scottish Ninja's got 6 seconds of penalties. Julian's got 3 seconds of penalties. Connor's got 9 seconds, but would get 4 placed in motion anyway from being a Tier 2 driver. So yeah, he's still now back in the net lead.
Yeah,
unfortunately, he's just got Ant to chase him down, which is never fun, even though he is a different tier.
Yeah, no, I think sometimes when you see Ant in your rearview mirrors, you go, yeah, no, that's fine, I'll let you past. I know that my race is not you, right? That's all he's got to think, and play it very, very sensibly. But we were talking earlier, weren't we, about how important it was to avoid penalties around here and how it can be a track where they rack up really quickly. Rob Smith, by avoiding them, by being pretty consistent, finds himself in a very strong position, but we've still got 10 laps of this race left to go. There's an awful lot of stuff that could happen, particularly with the field bunched up this much and with some pretty unpredictable weather conditions. Rob Smith goes very deep into the hairpin there. That's going to open it up to Ant. Is Ant going to have a go? Is he going to let him bite? No, he's going to keep battling down there. And they're just
but that was
going
good
to,
awareness and fair, that one, you see. That is how, when you come back on, you make a mistake, no contact. Look at that. It's amazing.
It is possible. You just have to make sure that you're in the right place at the right time.
But DRS Julian on the back of Connor, who goes very deep into turn 1, and it's going to come past through 2. Julian's trying to go on the outside of the Red Bull and does it.
Oh, excellent move there. Yeah, clean,
Wow.
knew exactly where to put his car and when to put the power down. And yeah, DRS Julian on a charge. Very impressive.
And I mentioned earlier that Grant had a bit of bad luck, lost a couple of front wings and caught up in a few bits. He's still there in 4th. He may have 6 seconds worth of penalties, but this is definitely worth fighting for, and this is definitely on the comeback, and he is right on the back of Connor as well now. So this is going to be a spicy little battle with the former Tier 3 man, and he's now in Tier 2, of course, is Connor. So
It is. And I don't know if you saw the very interesting message that just flashed up on our screen there. DRS has now been enabled, so everybody's out on the inters, but usually you see that message come up when it is okay for dries. So nobody can be sort of a cork in the bottle. I wonder if we're going to see some... It's been a real sort of Jensen Button-esque race here tonight, hasn't it? Where you've got so many different tyre strategies going on. You've got to be on the right set at the right time. And I wonder if some of those people right down the back, like Jazz, like Sambal, they'll come into their own later in the race if this just dries up a little bit more and the rain stops.
exactly, there's a yellow flag in the first sector. Not sure what that is. There's a bit of damage. Not sure who that was. That's Fire Roosters there, and he's parked it on the side of the track. I don't know if he had proper damage. I think he just parked it and retired on track, I think. I'm not sure who he was fighting with, I'm not going to lie. But yeah.
No,
Looks like an on-track retirement, I think. Johnny Smooth's taking this opportunity to pit potential safety car, but none at this moment in time. And it's weird, some games... Oh, there you go, it has gone. I was about to say something. It takes it a bit of time to clear up, and sometimes it will leave the car on circuit, but it's gone again. And I'll tell you what, Grant is all over the back of Connor, and DRS Julian's also got 6 extra penalties. Ooh, that was a bit close, guys. Come on. Run on the inside. It has stopped raining.
it has, you know. I reckon if there's another
quick.
twist in this tail, yeah, there was just a light shower, and those dashed on to inters, but I reckon
So Johnny Smooth's the one on the softs. Johnny Smooth and Sambal are on more softs. So it's going to be interesting to see what Johnny Smooth can do, how quick that's going to be. And I tell you who's pitted, Julian DRS in second, and Simba both pitted. Connor's pitted, Ant's pitted, but Grant has decided to stay, and he is keeping on going, and the track is dry.
Yeah, so on we go. What a fascinating race we've got here. The weather chopping and changing every other lap, it seems. The McLarens deciding, both of them, they're going to stay out on the inters. They're going to try and make up the time. They say, we don't reckon you can make up a gap of, what is that, 8 seconds now they've got from the leader. So it is a race now to see how quickly Simba can make it all the way up to the top.
Well, that's the thing, he's on the soft, and I'm looking at Grant on board with him, even out to turn 5. Cannot put the throttle down. Oh, he got a bit twitchy in a straight line. He is struggling with the car a lot at the moment. It's either that or I hope that he's glitching. But he's, really struggling with the grip at the moment. He is struggling to even turn the car at any point. He is really struggling. He's going to have to pit. He can't keep going on like this. Simba already is caught and past Danny, just absolutely gone straight past it. Both the McLarens are struggling to turn the car at any kind of speed.
Yeah, it looks like Simba, DRS, Julian, all of those made the call at exactly the right time. Clearly the track is not suitable now for those inters. It's the opposite Lando Norris problem. Get off those wets and onto a pet of softs, because...
Oh, you got 5 seconds, Scottish Ninja. No, Grant. I saw him entering and I'm looking, going, change down a gear, please, come on, slower. And he just didn't in time.
It's a shame, and we've had a big move up top as well. DRS Julian made the move on Simba into that last chicane, and he is now in the net lead of the race. It's been an excellent recovery drive from the Alfa Romeo man. Simba remains behind him. Ant, once more, had that incident, but he's recovered quite well and is in P3. Connor down in P4. Donny and Jazz now. Donny on those one-lap-old softs. It's all about those people who went with the softs at the right time, and Donny does seem to be another big winner in this race. And he's taking it
and
to the tier 2 man.
He's not got any penalties as well.
Yeah, which is so important. Rob Smith.
And Julian's got 6 seconds. But now to see what Grant can do. He's got the fresh tyres on now. They'll be... I mean, all the tyres are going to go well to the end. We know that. But Grant's going to be really fired up now. I know he is. So he's going to be one to watch. Especially against Judge by 7-lap-old Hards. Hards will be fine. They'll be feeling absolutely great, especially now that it's dried up. But, oh yeah, Rob Smith behind. Nice move with E17. Good bit of fighting there. Still side by side. Wow, E17 really got an exit off the hairpin.
Yeah, excellent clean racing from both of them. I think, unfortunately for B17, he's defended that so well, but he just won't have the DRS, so has to cede that place for those. Rob Smith up into P8.
Oh, the sound glitch, had to pause and unpause. That Scottish Ninja had a great move against Jazzboy and into the chicane, kind of like we did. And Jazzboy bailed out of it. That was a really, really good move from Grant. He actually did leave the space as well through the second part, just in case Jazzboy tried to keep it on track. And not a very good move from Grant.
Is all going on. Jazzboy, I think, made the decision to take he never went on a pair of inters, and it looked to be good, but just when everybody else went in for softs, he should have gone in for softs as well, because unfortunately it hasn't quite, it's not paying, is it, for him to stay out on those hards. He just seems to be eaten up by those cars around him. A lot of close battles in the field. B17, I wondered if Rob Smith was going to go up the road. It hasn't been the case. He is all over the gearbox of this Mercedes man, and I wonder if he's going to get a little bit of revenge as we start to go towards lap 31. 5 laps of this tier 3 race remaining. Now is the time to make moves, because you're not going to have many more laps to make them indeed. DRS Julian goes fastest with a 1:14 there. E17, is he going to go fast? They're going to go side by side. He had the apex there. And yet, and he's actually forced Rob Smith into a mistake there, so he was with no time penalties. Rob Smith now joins the club, and it's Donny, the main tier 3 man, who is leading the way with no time penalties to his name. Excellent clean racing from the Frenchman there.
Yeah, it definitely was. Jazzboy's got another one for his troubles. And speaking of penalties, Mr. Souza, as I was asking about the penalty situation.
Let's bring him up on screen now for you there.
Only Simba and Anta the two without it.
So we've got DRS with 6 seconds, which at the moment won't be enough to stop him not having the race win on track, but it'll be enough for him to take the tier 3 win. Donny needs to make up some space. And as soon as we said about Donny not getting any penalties, he's picked one up as well, so he's got 3 seconds as well. Scottish Ninja with 11 seconds, 6 seconds and 5 from the pit stop. That's really costing. Sambal picks up another 3, so we've got B17 Rob Smith with 3, Jazzboy 6, RSC Danny with 9, Johnny Smooth with 12, Winky CB Sambal with 6, and then Ghost Rider and Geke Matthew making it at the bottom of the field with 3 seconds apiece.
Yeah, I'm trying to do different bits of maths to work out who's going to finish where, and I can't.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Simply put, I'm not doing
Simba's
it.
job later. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get paid. Well, we don't get paid. So I'm not doing it.
No,
that's it. I'm throwing my bottle out. I'm throwing Connor's bottle out. But Donny's catching the back of Connor. I know this isn't technically for position, and Donny is safe for what would be second in the race, but especially after the penalties, 17 with 3, but unfortunately Grant with 11. There's penalties coming thick and fast at the moment.
Yeah, it's just, I think people are really pushing, aren't they, on these soft tyres. This is the time to make it work. You've got to make sure you want to push every white line as close as possible, and some are just treading over a slight bit. Rob Smith and B17 is the main battle on track at the moment. These two clean racing throughout, showing everybody in tier 3 how it should be done for the time being. They go side by side into the hairpin. The point is that the DRS activation zone is a long way away, so Rob Smith will get 2 bites of the cherry here, remember, and the first one will start around about now. You see that flap opening. Is he going to get the chance to go side by side with the Aston Martin? He lines them up, takes the inside line, and he's got so much straight line speed. How easy was that? And it's up into P7, and he's going to get the extra dose there. Now he wants to get the extra second on B17. He doesn't want to keep battling here. He wants to go up the road and remind Scottish Ninja that he's there to fight as well. Ant as well has caught up to the back of Simba in second place. this is for who's going to stand on top of the podium at the end of the race, because no matter what DRS Julian does, I think he's going to struggle to pull out a 6-second gap between him and Simba now.
Yeah, I think you're right, but Ant is... We know how quick Ant is. He doesn't like to show it, does Ant? Oh, he likes the sandbags more than Bailey. In fact, Scottish Ninja and Donny Osmond having a good little ding-dong. That was... Scottish Ninja gets past, and he needs to kind of scoot up the road a little bit in the next lap and a half, but he hasn't got any ERS left. Defense to the inside. The Williams trying to go around the outside. Can't get it done, but surely with the DRS, he will get that done. Whilst it's not been good for the McLarens, unfortunately, that 11 seconds for Scottish Ninja and 12-second penalties now for RFC, Danny, so it's not been ideal for them, and they've actually themselves have had very good races, in fairness. They've both done really, really well and had some great pace, and yeah, just not unfortunately gone well for them in terms of penalties.
It hasn't. We've got the last lap done, last few battles, last chance to overtake Donny and Scottish Ninja going hammer and tong, but I wonder if it's the battle up front. and Simba. Ant has been closing that gap down now. He's going to have 2 more chances, I reckon, to overtake him. 2 more big bites to cherry where you've got that DRS zone. He's got the first one here. I don't think he's going to make his move. If I know him, he's going to leave it right into the last minute down that huge straight, the biggest straight on the track, and try and just make it heartache for Simba.
Yep, how's the Anglo That's going to be it. Might not be as well at the end of this.
We'll see how much Simba fights this, but it is going to be DRS Julian coming across the line, and Simba goes side by side and goes past. He uses that so well to his advantage. He's going to be DRS Julian, who's going to be our race winner on track tonight, P1.
Let him go back past. I was just slowing right down to let everybody go through anyway. Yeah, so that's fair play for man. But this battle with Donny, but Rob Smith's involved in it as well, of course. That's quite important. He's going to have to close up. Scottish Ninja, no, he's got another penalty. Scottish Ninja, no, oh no.
Oh, our B17 will be so happy with that. He weaves across the line. We're just going to wait for all of these. We've got so many time penalties, so we're going to wait until we have the official result before I even try and say anything on where everybody's going to finish. But that was a real battle to the line, Matt. Weather condition changing throughout really made sure that nobody could get ahead. Nobody got ahead by a significant margin. There was always something in this race. And oh my goodness, Scottish Ninja, that's a DNF. I don't know where he's gone on track. Or if that,
I thought he'd crossed the line. I'm pretty sure. No, he did. He did cross the line. And I think if he left the session, it classes you as a DNF. He did cross the line, though, and we will have to get his footage, I'm sure. I'm pretty positive he crossed the line.
So that'll be another interesting bit for the driver of the day. It gives it to Jazzboy. Who's your driver of the day then, Mark?
There were so many battles. Difference in strategies through the different bits of... Actually, I quite like that celebration symbol. I'll give you that one. I'm
that's
not a fan of many, but I like that. I'll take that one. Bit of being patriotic and all that. Yeah, like I said, there were so many battles throughout with the mixed conditions, people trying the different strategies. I mentioned the McLaren boys, very difficult race for them, and a lot of penalties in the end took away how much they battled. Rob Smith did the same thing. I'm going to just squeak it and give it to Donny. I'm going to give it to Donny Osmond. From 10th to 3rd, 5 pit stops in the end. Wow, that's a lot, but he only had a 3-second penalty. I know Rob Smith in E17 did as well, and I'm just squeaking it to Donny.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you there. Great ride there from Donny, who did everything he could tonight. Let's take you through the provisional results then. Remember that these will change a little given tier demotions, etc. But we've got Simba P1, DRS in 2nd place, Donny 3rd, Rob Smith 4th, B17 5th, Connor 6th, Jazzboy 7th, RFC Danny 8th, Ant 9th, Ghost Rider 10th, Johnny Smooth 11th, Winky 12th, CBG Sambar 13th, Scottish Ninja 14th, Geke Matty 15th, Fire Rooster, Baby Hornet, Airways, Avanash and Mutts all unfortunately did not finish the race. Thank you for joining me, Mark. It's been excellent to have you here as always. And if you enjoyed that, then we've got Tier 4 action coming up in around about 20 minutes' time. So don't go anywhere. There we go.
Yep,
thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, thank you for having me, and it's been a pleasure. What a heck of a race that's been, and yeah, we've got that Tier 4 race coming soon, and then don't forget we've got Bank Holiday weekend in the UK coming up, so there are no tier races next week. However, on Friday evening, instead of MRCX, we have a Realistic Performance Grand Prix from Qatar, which we have not been to yet as a league. That is going to be interesting. Mix of tiers. On Monday, we have a no assists race, so no traction control, no ABS, manual gears only. Then Wednesday, we do have Tier 3 actually next Wednesday. They are rerunning the Miami Grand Prix that they missed due to numerous glitches that we decided to red flag for the evening. So there are still races, even though it is bank holiday. But yes, thank you, Rob, for having me. It's been a pleasure.
That's right, no problem. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.
Good night.